Welcome back, data leaders. Today we are going to read the files from S3 bucket. We are going to use the various read JSON, read CSV, read Parquet methods that are already available in AWS Wrangler and read the files that is already in S3 bucket. For this, we are going to go to the Jupyter Notebook. In the files that you have already downloaded from the GitHub repo that I have already given, we are going to first go to writing files to S3. You might be wondering, why am I going to go to writing files? Let me explain to you. Last time when I wrote all the files to S3 bucket, I showed it to you how to write it. We saw how the buckets were written, how the files were written. But if you check right now, there will be no objects in that bucket because we deleted all the objects. So what are we going to do now? Are we going to go and upload all the CSV, XLS, JSON one by one? Not really. All we have to do is come to writing files into S3, create the session here as we did in the last time, create the session which I've already done here, and start writing the files one by one. So you come here, you write the file. You say to CSV, the files will be written. You say to Excel, the Excel file will be written. Again, XLSX, it will be written. Parquet, okay, there is a mistake here. I should be writing it to Parquet. It will be written. And if you come to JSON, it will be written. And once you have written everything, and if you execute this, you will see that all the files are written in no time. It took less than 30 seconds, in fact, to write this. Assume that if you are going to do it all through CLI, how much time it is going to take? It's going to take at least 1 to 2 minutes. You have to open all the browser, you have to do the login and search the files. It's not going to be easy, right? But here I was talking with you and I was able to execute the commands in parallel. That's how S3, that's how AWS Wrangler helps you to master S3 and use it as if it's your own. Like I am writing this file as if it is my own hard disk. That is how it should be. Okay. Now we are going to go to the next step. We want to read the files from S3 bucket. So we have already written the files. So come here and click on reading files from S3. Once you come here, again, first 5 steps has to be about establishing the session. Next, this is important. The source bucket from where I am going to read is going to be the destination folder bucket. This name could be a little confusing because I kept this name based on the idea of making this bucket as the destination. However, right now I am going to read from the same destination bucket. So this could be a little confusing to you. However, kindly understand this is just a name. Do not get with the meaning of the name. It's just the meaning. It's just the name of the bucket. And the folders inside the bucket, we have CSV, Excel, Parquet, and JSON. Why I gave all this number. So all these names, let me show you. I use WRS3 and I say list objects. I say, okay, list directory, and I give the path from which I want to get a source bucket. And I give the session, Boto3 session, your session, and I list the directories inside this destination folder. And you'll see the directories are CSV, Excel, JSON, Parquet. This was a mistake that I made when I was writing the files here. That is why you see the Parquet exercise. Please ignore this. You see CSV, Excel, JSON, Parquet. That is how I have given this. And once I have recorded these folders to these variables, in future, if someone actually mistakenly like me makes it instead of Parquet, makes it as Parquet exercise, you have to just come here and put it as Parquet exercise, and you will read it from that directory. So it's as simple as that. We will start creating. We have to build the path for all the reading all the files. We have to first build the path. Building the path is basically taking the source bucket and adding the folder to it, or adding the directory to it. Folder and directory are used most of the time interchangeably. So don't get misled by the difference in the name. So folder and directory can be used interchangeably. In read CSV method, there is again various parameters. The most important parameter is just to give the path of the CSV file. You just give the path of CSV file that we built here, the CSV source plus bucket CSV folder, this path. If you give that here and give the session, it will read the CSV file. It is as simple as that. It is taking a little time, and yeah, it has read. And now you execute this command, read underscore WR underscore CSV. It has read the file as pandas data frame. How do you know that this is a pandas data frame? There are two ways to know that. As I have already explained, you can use the type variable, type command in Python to check the object type. So here it says pandas.core.frame data frame. So this is basically a pandas data frame. That is how you find the type of the object. Also, there is another way. You can try to create some command related to pandas. In this place, I am trying to filter based on the salary. Who has more than 900k salary, I am going to filter, and I get as Beatles. Now we will try to read from the Excel folder. This Excel folder is the variable that we already gave for the Excel path, and this is a source bucket. I execute this and you will see that S3 destination Excel. In case of reading the Excel folder, you have to provide the complete name of the file that you want to read. In case of CSV, you saw that there is no need of such a name. I have not given any name here. If you even look here, I have not given any name. However, for Excel file, AWS Wrangler in requests, or it is programmed in such a way that you have to give the complete file. Then only it will work. If you don't give this file, it will throw an error. I will show what kind of error it will come. You will be seeing it in a second. Next is Parquet file. Again, we will have the Parquet folder and the source bucket. We are going to execute that, and we are going to read the Parquet file now. If you list the source bucket, we see there are two Parquet files here. This is something which is going to be take you off guard. Let me explain to you. Now I am going to blindly execute this particular command, and you will see it throws an error. It throws no files found. You will be surprised why the file is not there. We can see that we have already listed the objects with respect to the source. With respect to this source, we have already listed the object. Let me make it a little more clear here. The path of listing the object is source, and I've given this Boto session here. But if you look closely, you'll see the name of the file that I am reading is different. The name is different. This is because when I created this notebook, the name that was in the Parquet file was different. After that, I deleted that Parquet file. Now I have written a new Parquet file, so the file is new. So that is why it created that error. Now I have given the name of the new Parquet file, and if I execute it, it will read. Just a minute. It is yeah, it has read. Sometimes there will be some kind of error like this thrown by the AWS Wrangler. This could be because of various reasons, because of network issue and related challenges. Just don't get surprised by these kinds of error. Finally, all we need is that we need to see that the data is getting read, and we are going to read the JSON folder, and we give the JSON path. We execute that read JSON, and we check whether it is read, and it is read. This is how we read all the various files. Now comes reading fixed width file. In case of fixed width file, you will see that there is one text file. If you look at my source folder, there is a text file, and if you try to cat it, or if you try to open it in your notepad, you will see that the text file contains a tab space between the various columns like this. There is a tab space. I am using this command to upload the text file. I am uploading this text file from my source folder, local folder, to S3 bucket, and I am going to read it. I am going to manually read it now. It's already there. Okay. You see again, I had deleted the file. So all I need to do is come back here and upload the file. It will upload there. And now if I read it, it will read. This kind of flexibility, even if you are making a mistake, the time it takes to rectify that is very less. And then once you are read it, you can see the reading, the way it reads the fixed width format is not the way we want. When it reads JSON, when it reads Parquet, it reads it properly as a column row data structure. But the fixed width file, it is not reading in the way of column and rows. This is how the AWS Wrangler has been programmed right now. Even if there is a slight mistake in how the file, the text file has been created, the entire reading mechanism fails. One of the ways I found is to avoid using fixed width altogether. Usually we don't use fixed width in any of our regular data engineering activities until unless we are forced to work on some text files. That time we have a different way of doing it. Rather than directly reading it using fixed width method, we can use pandas method also to read it. That is out of scope of this particular video. I'll be covering it later. At this moment, try to use only the other methods that I have shown in the read JSON, read CSV, and read Parquet. Don't concentrate on the method of reading it through fixed width. That is the overall idea of reading the files. So to recap, we have not done anything much different this time. We started with always creating the session and using the various methods that is available in AWS Wrangler. We gave the path for each of the type of the files. There were certain changes in how we read the file. So there could be some kind of additional key or prefix you need to give. You might have to look at the file names. If the file name is not existing, you will not be able to read that file. All these kinds of things we went through in this video. And the most importantly, you saw that we should not use fixed width format at this moment. We have to understand that more deeply, and we have to be more careful about how we formulate the file itself. This is the overall picture. As usual, come here and ensure that you clear the source bucket. In this case, I have changed the name. I need to make it as source bucket. In my I'll be updating this file to have the source bucket, so you will not get this error. And if you list the source bucket, you will see that there is no any object. So this is how you can work very closely with S3. Next, what we are going to see is we are going to introduce Glue catalog and Athena query tool. In order to work on these two tools, you have to go a little bit deeper into data warehouse understanding. That I will be introducing in the next video. After that, we will also see how to write using the Glue catalog. You will be astonished that using AWS Wrangler, you can avoid using Glue crawler. If you have used Glue crawler in AWS AWS GUI, there is a way to avoid Glue crawler altogether and write directly by using AWS Wrangler. You'll see that in the next video. So stay tuned for that, guys, data leaders, and see you in the next video.